All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really deeply fascinating 1994 discourse by Guru Siyag. We're going to systematically map out his highly specific philosophy of inner awakening. We're talking bold claims, deep metaphysical concepts, and honestly, an entirely different way of looking at human energy. And it's all drawn directly from this rare source text.
Right off the bat, the text hits us with a huge question. Is true peace actually found on the outside? I mean, we spend so much of our time and energy searching for external fixes to our internal unrest, right? But as you'll see, this speaker argues we've been looking in the entirely wrong direction. To make sense of these complex ideas, we're taking an inner journey. We'll briefly run through external rituals versus internal truth. Then we'll look at destructive intellect and constructive energy, moksha and the importance of the guru, the mystery of the cosmic word, and finally, we'll land on Kundalini and the 10th door.
Okay, starting with part 1, external rituals versus internal truth. Here, the speaker draws a massive line in the sand about what a spiritual life really is. He introduces this concept of the man mandir, which basically translates to the inner temple of the mind, and he makes a striking claim. He says that once you experience realization inside this inner temple, literal physical buildings, like churches or stone temples, they essentially become obsolete. They lose their purpose. It's a complete paradigm shift. He's saying that superficial rituals, lighting incense or offering lamps, that's not true religion. True religion, according to the text, is about plugging into an internal guidance system. It's this activated presence that guides your path 24/7, which makes all those momentary outward actions completely secondary.
Moving on to Section 2, Destructive Intellect and Constructive Energy. The discourse shifts gear here, going from personal rituals to how human energy is being used on a massive global scale. And this assessment is honestly pretty severe. He points out that the modern, intellect-driven world has used over 70% of its energy just to create weapons. To put that into perspective, we have literally built enough destructive power to wipe out the entire world 7 to 8 times over. He poses this highly critical, almost absurd question. If you can destroy the world once, what exactly do you need weapons for the other 7 times?
So the crucial point here is the contrast. Human intellect, left to its own devices, becomes destructive. But, and this is a big but, if that exact same energy were guided by a blissful spiritual consciousness, what he calls Sat-Chit-Ananda, its use becomes purely constructive. He claims that harnessing energy in this way would essentially eliminate worldly scarcity. That brings us to Section 3, Moksha and the importance of the guru.
As we move deeper inward, we have to wrap our heads around moksha, which is ultimate liberation. The text states that human beings are fundamentally trapped in Maya, or illusion. The speaker emphasizes that anything you experience below what he calls the 10th door is just Maya. It's fake. Now, he acknowledges that other gurus might give you a temporary sense of peace or some minor visions, but he insists that only a true guru can actually pull you out of that illusion and grant real moksha.
So how does that happen? Well, the guru outlines 3 main ways this spiritual awakening, known as Shaktipat, is transmitted to a seeker. First, through physical touch, specifically targeting energy centers like the Muladhara. Second, through a spoken word or mantra. And third, simply through sight, a direct, focused gaze from the guru that transmits this energy instantly.
And here is where it gets wild. He claims this yogic awakening doesn't even require physical proximity. There are anecdotes presented where seekers trigger spontaneous yogic movements thousands of miles away, literally just by watching a recorded film of his instructions. It's framed as this profound, boundaryless divine force.
Let's dive into Section 4, the mystery of the cosmic word.
This is a grand metaphysical concept that actually bridges a lot of faiths. The speaker notes that major world religions, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, and Hinduism, they all fundamentally agree on one huge idea, that the entire creation of the universe originated from a single divine word.
But here's the twist. Guru Siyag claims that while other religions stop at acknowledging the word, his tradition goes a massive step further. He asserts that a human being can actively experience and visualize this word. Furthermore, he flat out states that without this direct realization, true moksha is literally impossible.
Finally, we arrive at Section 5, Kundalini and the 10th door. This is the absolute core of the discourse's philosophy. To really grasp this, we need to understand a term called urdhva-gaman. This means the upward journey of energy. He explains that divine energy, often referred to as Kundalini, Radha, or Parvati, originally descended, and that's what trapped humanity in worldly illusion. Urdhva-gaman is the deliberate reversal of that flow. It's pulling the seeker back upward, out of Maya.
So where is all this upward energy going? It travels to what the text calls the 10th door. The speaker describes this as a literal inner eye. The ultimate defining job of the true guru is to unlock and open this exact door. When it opens, the discourse claims, divine light floods in, totally dispelling all of the seeker's internal darkness and revealing the truth that was hidden inside all along. The monologue concludes with a very hard and fast rule. He states that true liberation absolutely requires the deliberate awakening of three specific inner sheaths, or koshas, the manomaya, annamaya, and pranamaya. It's pitched as a strict evolutionary necessity. Without actively turning on these three distinct internal layers, achieving ultimate liberation just isn't going to happen.
As we wrap up our explainer of this incredibly dense 1994 discourse, I want to leave you with this final thought based on the text. Are you wasting your precious energy looking outward at physical temples and external pursuits for profound spiritual guidance that might already be waiting to be awakened right now inside your own mandu?
लिखा है गुरुर् ब्रह्मा गुरुर् विष्णु गुरुर्देव महेश्वर, गुरु साक्षात परब्रह्म तस्मै गुरुवे नमः। समझे ना? तो अब मैं आपको मंत्र बता दूं, आप उसको खुला बता सकते हो जिसको चाहो। अब ये लाइव हो गया, पूरे आपके रिश्तेदारों को बताइए जो मैं अभी बता रहा हूँ, इसमें आप कोई रोक नहीं है। हर जाति के लोगों को बताइए। वेस्ट में आपके कोई लोग है तो उनको लिख के भेज दीजिए। एक छोटा सा शब्द है, बीज मंत्र है। बीज मंत्र इसलिए कहा है इसको कि बरगद के पेड़ का बीज राई के दाने जितना 1 किलोमीटर फैलेगा, उस बीज में दिखता है क्या? तो ये कै आधा लय में मिला हुआ, बड़ी ही की मात्रा और बिंदी, उसको बोलते हैं क्लिंग। कई लोग क्लीम मैं बोलते, क्लीम मैं नहीं, क्लिंग है। अंग अंग बोलो, आप अभी बोलो अंग तो यहाँ स्ट्रोक लगेगा, अंग यहाँ स्ट्रोक लगा। तो उसको जपने के लिए हमारे संतों ने उसको जपाया, बताया क्लिंग क्रिएशन क्लिंग, क्लिंग क्रिएशन क्लिंग, क्लिंग क्रिएशन क्लिंग। तो अब आप जपो क्लिंग क्रिएशन क्लिंग, क्लिंग क्रिएशन क्लिंग, क्लिंग क्रिएशन क्लिंग। खिचड़ी भी लगेगी। अब ये पर्चे बांट देते हैं आपको छोरे, पर्चा कोई देख ले, आप बात नहीं। आप सबको कह सकते हो कि ये जपो क्लिंग क्रिएशन क्लिंग, क्लिंग। आप जपो, आप खुद कह दो। आप जब बताओगे तो मुझसे जुड़ जाओगे ना आप, नहीं फिर मैं बोलूंगा।